I'm Áine Bryn. I'm the CMO of Marsh, McLennan in the UK. And what I'm here today to talk to you about is marketing as a strategic enabler of growth. And it works. Listening to the WPP presentation struck me because one of the things I talk about is how we enable, as marketeers, the business. And with AI, it's all shiny and new, but the key thing is how you use it, how you apply it. And it's the same within any core function of the marketing approach. So that's what I want to talk to you today, is how we enable growth in business. So a little bit of background on me first. As I said, I'm the CMO of Marsh McLennan UK, and I work across two main companies, Marsh, which is the world's largest insurance broker, so a risk advisor, and Mercer, which is a pensions and investment and employee benefits organization. So I've got a broad remit. But prior to that, I used to be at PwC leading global financial services marketing. So I've worked in consulting for almost all my life. But I started selling advertising fresh out of university. And as an Irish person, being given money to speak on the phone all day, it was brilliant. And I loved it. I remember ringing my dad saying, like, what I'm doing. He's like, that's all you do? And I'm going, yeah, and I'm good at it. The other thing I would say is when I first started presenting, I was told, give the audience something personal so they have a connection with you. So my personal connection with you is I'm the youngest of 10. It's a good Irish family. So my superpower, because of that, is storytelling. Because I figured out really early on, if I wanted my voice heard above all my brothers and sisters, I had to have a pitch. So it was ordained that I would go into marketing. And I do think, actually, storytelling is a key superpower for marketeers. Because if you can articulate the value that you can bring, you're in there. And one of the other key things is, as I got further up in my career and got a seat at the table, you know, everyone talks about get a seat at the table for marketing. That's just the first hurdle. The most important thing is that you have a voice at the table. Doesn't matter whether you're on the agenda all the time. Don't wait for the agenda item. Marketing update, usually the last thing on the list. Interject, because you can narrate where you're adding value for the business. And that's the whole thing about, you know, what our focus is on. And I try to think about in terms of what we can do to really demonstrate that value. And the outside in is really key. And this goes back to the storytelling. Focus on outcomes. What is it that you can do for an organization that brings the outside in? Because too often we get focused on how we go to market. So what our structure is, or our lines of business or our practice areas. And so you market down the silos. But marketing is in a unique situation. I think of it as air traffic control. I'm full of analogies, so forgive me if I mix them all up. But the air traffic control does two things. Sends you on your holiday, so positive, but it also makes sure you get there safely. And I always think of, if you look at it from the outside in, you're always with the client mindset. So marketing, again, the value you're demonstrating to your business leaders is how you can deliver the clients to them, keep them sticky if they're existing clients, build new business. But again, always looking at the outside in. I always feel if your client or your prospect feels the structure of your organization, something's gone awry. So always look at that focus on the outside in. Growth mindset. What do I mean by that? Constantly thinking about where does marketing add value. So most organizations, even not-for-profit and charities, are trying to do two things: get new clients or keep existing clients happy. So the growth mindset is, how do you not sell more things to more people, but how do you deliver your organization's insights and added values to your existing clients to reassure them that they're still with the right organization, or to show new clients the art of the possible? So I always think of when we're talking to clients and prospects, as an organization, you do two things. You fix their problems for them, and you help them see around the corner that they can't see. So that gets them sustainable growth, making them sustainable and competitive. So again, if you're adding that focus of outside in, growth mindset, again, your business leaders are going, ooh, tell me what you think we could do for that growth opportunity. The other one is purposeful collaboration. Again, with marketing, you're in the hub. You see everything. because you see all the campaigns that are coming in, you're driving those, you see what the business is trying to achieve. You can see disparate parts of the business all trying to get to the same audience. And again, back to my analogy about the air traffic control. If you are the air traffic controller and you see 5 planes taking off, but they're all headed for the same direction, same destination, could be the same buyer. You all want to reach a HR buyer or the CFO or the CEO, whatever. Well, if you let all of them hit the CFO or whomever, they're just going to get blinded by stuff, so you cancel each other out. So if you think about it in terms of, well, actually, 3 of them have the same message, we'll combine those 3 planes together to 1 plane. And actually, the other one is slightly different, we'll divert it to something else. It means to the business, you're helping them get effective marketing into the right hands at the right time. So again, purposeful collaboration means how do you get the baton pass working with the client's view in mind into the hands of your sales team, your consultants? Do they understand what you're asking them to do? Because how often have you sat in a meeting going, oh, we need a social card on X message, and we need to do an event, and we need to do whatever it is? And yeah, the first answer is, of course we can help you with that, marketing, nothing impossible. But I always think, well, can I just ask you, what are you actually trying to achieve? That gets a pause. Oh, well, X, Y, Z. Ah, okay, in that case, an event won't work or a social card won't work. Why not? Well, if you want to get here, here's what you could do. So again, this is the conjurer, the marketing. We have all the channels to market. We have all the ideas. We can help them understand, well, if you want to achieve X, here's what you do to do that. And then how you measure it. How will you know you're successful? That's always a good question to ask, because some people, oh, I want loads of people to come to the website. Well, great, there's click farms you can hire to do that. That's just numbers. What is it you want them to do? What is it you want them to get out of it? And it's also always a value exchange. It's like today, you being here, you've made a value exchange. You're giving time to the organization who are putting on this event, and to me, and thank you very much for coming. But you need to get something out of it as well. So it's that value exchange of your audience, your customers, your stakeholders, whomever you're trying to communicate with. Marketing can help the business understand the right channels to market, the right messaging, the right value exchange, so that it's not a one-hit wonder, but it's a repeatable engagement from those individuals. They're giving you time, they're investing in your content, they're investing in your event, they're investing in your product. But again, it's that purposeful collaboration with the business leaders to help them understand how they can use marketing to drive growth. And growth doesn't always have to have a dollar sign against it. It could be, again, reassuring existing clients that they're with the right organization so they stay sticky. Because we all know it costs a whole lot more to build and bring in new business constantly. If you've got a good client base, nurture them. And again, marketing's brilliant at nurturing. Storytelling, keep them engaged. Reassure them that they're doing the right thing. You're seeing around the corner for them. You're helping them get their growth, so they're going to see you in a positive light, and therefore your business will be successful as well. And then operational efficiency. You know, again, just listening to the AI conversations, it's important that we don't reinvent the wheel. It's important that we always look for the next evolution, but don't use it as the next shiny new thing. Only use it if it's meaningful. Will it help me deliver the right outcomes? And don't get me wrong, we should always be checking whether we're still focused on those right outcomes. How many of you have been in working in a situation where you're working on a big project and halfway through your emails aren't being answered by your stakeholders, they're not signing off the content, or they're not reviewing the delegate ... or they're not reviewing ... I always use that as a pivot to say, can I just check, are we still going for this objective? Yes, yes, yes. In that case, we're missing milestones. Or it's okay to pivot. That's fine too. Has the market moved? Has the solution changed? Has the objective changed? But again, use triggers along the way, milestones, where you get a little bit of slack in the system. You think, oh, I'm really vested in this, but I'm not getting the same response back. And that goes back to the storytelling piece, because if you can get people bought in from the very beginning of a campaign to understand why they're working on it, what their role is in it. And again, how many times have you asked your stakeholders, can you just pick up the phone and call your clients to invite them to this event? Oh, yeah. And you're still at low numbers, right? So how do you make sure that they feel that by doing it, the value exchange, they're going to get value out of it as well, because their client will come and see what an amazing organization they're working with. or they'll get insight that they never realized they were missing. So it's that whole thing about that value exchange, but making sure your business understand they have a part to play, and by giving it to marketing doesn't mean putting it in a corner and then hoping for the best and then wondering why no one turned up. So again, back to collaboration, purposeful collaboration. And then the operational efficiency, how about we make it really smooth? And again, using all the innovation that we can. Marketing should be at the forefront of that. But the shiny new thing doesn't have to be the most innovative new things on the block. Go back to basics. What are we trying to achieve? How best do we achieve it? Because we're only dealing mostly in a B2B environment, we know who we're trying to talk to. So we know when we bring those organizations into our activities, whether it's events, whether it's content or whatever. So we know who we're targeting. So we can be operationally effective in terms of targeting those individuals. But you've got to do it with the organization. So in terms of driving growth, this is a slide I use myself working with my own teams. I always say I only have one objective, and that is to help the organization grow. So it's in my best interest to make my business leaders successful. And that really resonates because a lot of them people think, well, marketing are only interested in clicks on the website and impressions on social media. And it's not. It's about making the organization grow. Because if the organizations grow, chances are you might get more investment in your marketing team. You might be able to build resource, or even better, get more budget to do more things. So by focusing on commercial growth, whatever that means for your business and the organizations that you're working with, it means that the business knows whatever they're trying to achieve, your objectives are aligned. So the marketing strategy to me mirrors what we're trying to do in the business. How we do it is slightly different, okay? So it's all about the buyers, understanding who they are. And again, I'm sure many of you have been in situations when you ask the question, who do we want to target? C-suite, right? What's the C-suite? So is it me as the CMO? Is it the CFO? Is it the treasurer? Is it the chief? Is it the company secretary? Is it the C? Oh, okay. So know your buyers, because if you know your buyer, then back to the value exchange, you can make sure what you're giving them is relevant, so they'll engage with you. And they'll start to think, well, this organization understands my business. It understands my industry. And if you can go to market by industry or sector, all the better, because again, you funnel it down in terms of these are the key issues for you in your industry, this is what your peer group is doing, who doesn't have a benchmark? Again, your value exchange very high. Then it's in terms of client and prospecting engagement. How do you engage with them? You know, gone are the days where you would just do a blanket email to everyone and hope for the best. Scattergun approach never works. You might hit one person once. So again, looking at it in terms of who you want to talk to and what you want to say to them, and equipping the business with those narratives as well. Because again, back to that value exchange internally, if the business know how to articulate why you're saying what you're saying, the better it is. And that will ultimately lead to profitable growth. Again, back to your business objectives, as long as marketing is aligned to that, then your business will engage with you and help you deliver your marketing campaigns. But remember, you're always going back to that pivot around what are we trying to achieve, how will we measure it, what are the KPIs, and revisiting them at key milestones along the way, regardless of what the campaigns are. Some of them are short campaigns, some of them are long tail or multi-channel or multi-sectors as well. So again, it's just always going back to the business and understanding that, or rather make sure that everyone understands their roles and how you deliver all that. Because getting our clients, or getting clients and prospects into your website, into your events, reading content, engaging with your products and services is no easy task. So when they do engage, make sure we're purposeful in terms of what we want them to do. So what is the ask? And what's the next step? Make it easy for them to engage with you. But your business colleagues are essential to do that, whether it's the sales team, whether it's the consultants, whether it's product leaders. They need to know how to engage. And one of the things I also do is looking at it from a continuous relay. I told you I'm very big on analogies. So my other one is marketing is a never-ending relay race. So we're constantly passing the baton back and forth with various members of the marketing function, with various members of the business, whether it's your board, whether it's your leadership team, whatever, however you're structured. But it's a never-ending relay race. And to me, that's where the excitement comes in, because it's never static. It's always moving. And if you get that good cadence with the business in terms of understanding what they're trying to achieve, how marketing is adding value, not only do you have a seat at the table, you have a very strong voice to demonstrate how marketing is driving growth and being able to demonstrate how marketing is adding value to the organization. And the other one is when you're at an event, how often do you see your business people standing in a corner instead of engaging with clients and prospects? Do you have to go march them over? Understandable, right? It's like, oh, what if I ask them a question I don't know the answer to, or they ask me something I don't know the answer to? Again, it's about giving them the story. And back to my storytelling, is, what is the so what of our story? And one of the things I use with my teams is about how you go from A to Z and make the connections for our clients. So some of you will have heard that this old game, how you go from Kevin Bacon to any other actor or any other movie within 7 steps or less. Well, I use that for our marketing. So how do I go from employee benefits to risk advisory in steps that make so you can bring people on that journey? And it's all about what's to the left and the right of the thing that you're talking about. So if someone needs to buy a solution or a product or a service, what's the question they would have asked before they got to that question? Okay, well, that takes you to that. Okay, then what's the next question after that? And you just keep going out and out and out, and suddenly you go from employee benefits to risk advisory. Oh, I understand that. Well, that's exactly what you're doing with clients and prospects. So it's not hard, but you need to have that storytelling to make people feel confident. And it's also about making sure that you use it as a tip of the spear. So that's it. What's the first thing you're talking about? And then make it relevant to the next one on the outside, and the next one on the outside, and the next one on the outside. Because then you're painting a picture and you're telling a story, and people go, oh, okay, now I can make the connection why you talk about employee benefits and then suddenly risk advisory over there. So it helps you if you do a tip of the spear approach, because you can then broaden out. And that's where you can have interesting conversations. And again, it's also equipping your business with those little nuggets, sound bites, elevator pitch, whatever you want to call it, but they can articulate how multiple campaigns dovetail with each other, even if they could be about different sectors, different solutions, or different ideas. But you make those connections, because then you're giving your clients and prospects the reassurance that, gosh, these guys know their stuff, they really know, but they're also thinking behind to make sure I've made the right decision to get here, but also ahead so that I don't trip up. And who doesn't want to work with an organization that is thinking about you in those terms? So, I'm thinking about you, I'm trying to see what you should be doing next. And yes, if you're in a commercial organization, of course you're trying to sell more. Everyone knows that, it's not a secret. But if you do it with a way of purpose in terms of, well, if you want to get here, back to the conversation you're having with your stakeholders, the business are having that with their clients. What is it you want to achieve? Let me help you to achieve that. And this kind of ending relay race, and I talk about the so what, who are we talking to, what's the tip of the spear, but also who will pass that baton. So you need that connection. With technology now, there is nothing we don't know about our campaigns. There is nothing we don't know about the target audiences. If you use Salesforce or any other CRM system, you can track everything. You can put who you're talking to down one side, how many campaigns they've engaged with, where does the baton pass from marketing into the sales team, who's making the follow-up call after an event. What happens? We all know if you want to capture some engagement, you do it within 24 to 48 hours of an event. But if the business aren't doing it, you can track it. You can say, well, hang on a minute, back to, well, is this not what we're trying to achieve anymore? Have we changed the plans? If you're going to invest in events and a value exchange, people come into it, they're interested. I mean, how often have you had experience of an event, you talk about the follow-up months in advance, you get to the day after, you go, oh, that was great, job done, on to the next one. You're going, well, who's going to follow up? And you get the story, oh, I know them, they're not interested. You go, well, if they spend an hour with us, they must be interested in something. Okay, so again, it's just helping the business to understand this is you passing the baton to them, saying this is perfect. And again, it's about going right back to basics about that storytelling. You're telling a story to your clients and prospects. You're also telling a story to your consultants, your sales team, making sure they know what their role is in that telling of that tale so they can bring it into their clients. And then make sure they bring it back to you, because that's the last kind of circuit on that first relay. Is the more feedback we get in marketing as to what resonates, what worked, they didn't see the connections, that helps you then finesse your marketing campaign. So again, we don't repeat everything. Probably like you all, I'm in the middle of FY24 planning, and looking at what you did this year or the year before is not a bad thing to see what goes forward. They were saying the past is a great indicator of the future, but just because you've done something twice, 3 times, 4 times doesn't mean you continue to do it. Always ask the question, why? Is it purposeful? Is it successful? Is it still achieving our objectives? If it's not, then change it. But you don't have to, again, don't change it for change's sake. Back to having not just the seat at the table, but the voice at the table. What are we trying to achieve? Making sure that what we pull together is actually meaningful, so that when you do your plans, you'll execute them to the best of your ability with your team, with your business, but they're purposeful and linked to the objectives of the business. Helen, how am I doing on time?
You are doing well when you've got 5 minutes.
Okay, so I'm a big believer in I don't know what everyone else doesn't know. I might know something that you might want to know. So I'm open for questions. So if there are any questions, otherwise I can very happily continue chatting. Anyone has a question?
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
This is all really interesting, but if you were going to sum up, say, what your purpose is, what is your purpose?
My purpose is to drive commercial growth. It's really as simple as that. I see my role as, I don't say I'm a marketing person, I say I'm a business person. My specialty is marketing. And when I sit at the table of our leadership meeting, I don't wait for marketing. In fact, I don't put marketing on the agenda. I just contribute like everybody else, because that's how you weave it into the business fabric. It's not, oh, we can deal with the nice stuff. It's not. It's, we have an objective to drive. Everyone has a role. And I think it's very important for marketeers not to forget to speak the language of the business. It's fine that we have MarTech and we have data analytics. We have tons of data. We're in such an enviable position now that when I was first starting off, I used to have record cards handwritten on my conversations with the clients I was selling to. So that'll give you how long I've been in the business. But don't forget to speak the language of the person sitting in front of you. So what does an impression mean? Because all they're focused is outcomes. So if you attach yourself to outcome-driven, purposeful marketing, you'll always be included and invited in to have, and your voice will be expected, not just, oh, we have to add marketing, we have to add comms, we have to add this. It will actually be deliberate, and that's when you know you have a seat at the table. It doesn't matter if you're not on the leadership team or not on the board or whatever. As long as you're being sought out for we need to do X, how do you think we could do that? So don't be a transitional or transactional order taker. As I said, the first thing is, yes, of course we can do that. Can I just ask what you're trying to achieve? And that question opens up your door, and you can push against it into the business to help yourself be successful. And also, sorry, go on. Yeah?
You mentioned FY24 planning. I'm just wondering what you're most excited about for FY24, what you're feeling is the biggest challenge you've got facing.
They're the same. So one of the things that in my new role at Marsh McLennan is looking as to how we can bring disparate organizations. So Marsh is, I said, one of the world's it's the leading insurance broker, but also risk advisor. And on Mercer, which is pensions and employee benefits, how do I bring those two together in a narrative that makes sense to our clients, without trying to say, oh, I've got all of this over here and I've got all of that over there. How can it's that? So the challenge is, how do I make it the value exchange contextual for our clients that we're talking to, so that they can see the extra value? And that's the big thing for me at the moment. But that's all about storytelling, so which is why I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
That's right. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I was going to ask, you touched a couple of times on sales teams not doing quite what we're expecting of them. How do you balance kind of know, they give feedback of, oh, well, that event didn't work because I think we need more like this sort of topic. How do you balance responding to that sort of feedback from people who are at the coalface and staying true to your plan, your strategy that research and time has gone into?
Good question. And I actually have a sales team meeting this evening or later on this afternoon. Again, it goes back to objectives. If at the very beginning of your discussion with the business as to I'll give you a practical one. So they're working on FY24 sales budgets. So I've said the marketing budget will align in principle to the direction of where we need to get to. It won't mirror your sales plan because, for example, if you have an organization and you're a market leader in a particular product or a solution, that might not need as much marketing effort as the thing down here that they're just trying to kick off. So although that generates tons of revenue, you could think, oh, we should put loads of marketing. That actually not. That needs more of nurture, keep the wheels turning. You need to focus more on that. So again, it's by discussing with the sales leaders in terms of the objectives and understand where you're going to pull the levers for marketing so that everyone is signed up for it from the very beginning. You'll never fix the coal face, oh, that didn't work because we didn't get these million leads come through, whatever. Unrealistic expectations. But that's where marketing has to be very clear in terms of, well, this is what we can deliver, this is the outcome of that, and this is what it will lead on to next. It's clear expectations and having a robust dialogue in terms of making sure that everyone knows this is what sales are doing, this is marketing, and this is where the two come together. But ongoing, that's where the fun happens. Any other questions? 1 minute, or are we done? 1 minute, okay. Well, listen, I'm sure you can find me on LinkedIn if you need to. I'm very happy to answer any questions offline as well. I'm sorry I can't stay for much longer, but thank you for joining me today, and I hope this was of use. Thank you.